From USMCA to a Phase 1 trade deal with China, the ag sector enters the new year with an optimistic outlook. Beef producers specifically look to capitalize on the recent trade deals with Japan and the EU, which have both now taken effect. Joining us now is President of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Jennifer Houston. Thank you, Jennifer, for being with us today. Let's start with the logistics of the trade deal with Japan and its benefits for U.S. beef producers.
Well, we're certainly excited, and beef producers had a happy new year because of this bilateral deal with Japan. Japan's our #1 beef export market last year. It's about 25% of our exports, over $2 billion worth. And that was at a 38.5% tariff, which now makes us level at 26.6 with all of our competitors, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Mexico. So we look forward to even an expanded market with a much more favorable tariff. So very much good news for beef producers on that front.
That is good news. Now, what about the EU deal? How big of a market is this for U.S. beef?
The EU is a niche market right now to a certain extent, but certainly with room for growth. It's a protectionist market, as you know. But what this does is finally carve out, after years of work, a U.S.-specific beef quota. We start out about 18,500 this year, increasing up to 35,000 metric tons that will only be for U.S. beef. Now, the caveat to this is it's non-hormone treated beef. But we do have beef produced for that market, and what this does for them is give them a certainty. Under the old way, it was not U.S. only, and it was a first-come, first-served basis each quarter, so you couldn't be sure you had a market. So this gives them certainty, and certainly any beef that we sell overseas is a plus. And we know that European consumers want our product, so we hope as we get more and more in that they can persuade their governments to relax some of their protectionist measures.
And what benefits do you expect to see from both of these deals moving forward?
Oh, I think all we're going to do is see them grow. Certainly in Japan, and just look at what's happened over exports just in the last 10 years. 10 years ago, our total exports are only about $3 billion, and last year we were over $8 billion. That was 2018, 2019, even a little bit more than that, up 12%, I think you said. So we just think of this growing demand for our product. Both we have strong demand domestically. We certainly have strong demand internationally, and it's just going to make a better market for beef producers as years go on.
And finally, President Trump says he'll sign that Phase 1 trade deal with China on January 15th. Any thoughts there?
We don't really have any details on that yet, but the fact that we're talking and we hear that things may be favorable for beef, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. We haven't seen any of the details yet, so we know that's a huge potential market for beef producers. And if we can get some of the non-tariff trade barriers as well as the tariffs reduced, we know that the Chinese consumers want our product. We've seen that, and they've told us that, so we're able to get access. That's an even larger potential market to add to our good news on the export front.
Probably we'll know more on January 16th, won't we? NCBA
So.
President.
That'll be good to know.
Yes, it will. NCBA President Jennifer Houston, thank you so much for joining us today.